Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. I hope everybody's doing well and enjoying their morning. That's right, it's the morning, folks, and we've got a very special unboxing here for you today, folks. This one's coming from Canada, and I'm super duper excited about it because we're stacking duplicates here once again here at SBS. And so this item here that we're going to be unboxing is going to be an item that's actually featured already here on our website, and so I'm excited to take a look at this because I don't know for sure if we've actually seen one of these on the channel before. Now, this may be an item that you've seen possibly on some other channels, but it's not really truthfully an item that you really see too often. So we're not unboxing an American Silver Eagle here, folks, just as an example. It's something a little bit more difficult to come by than an American Silver Eagle. So I'm excited to take a look at what it is, show it to you up close and personal, and then maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion around what it is that we're looking at exactly as well. And some of the other things that you might want to be keeping an eye out for on top of that. So let's go ahead and grab the handy dandy scissors and crack open into this very securely packed package. Bam. A triple layer of protection. And this is a very tasteful box as well, might I add. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Now this is a chunker of an item, and it's a chunker of a round actually, and me myself here SBS, I like the large rounds. For me, large rounds are something that you don't see every day, right? And so I know that, you know, there might be some generic offerings out there as far as, you know, like larger generic buffaloes or ASE replicas or something like that that you could find in, you know, your local coin shop's generic bin. But truthfully, I see a lot of large bars, but I don't see a lot of large rounds out there. So I'm always kind of in the market, or at least interested, whenever I see a large round, especially when it's 5 or 10 ounces or some larger denomination. You don't see a lot of those larger rounds too often. So I always like to personally keep an eye out for larger rounds, and you'll find that over time you'll see more and more larger rounds in the SBS exclusive section, as an example, because a lot of times these larger rounds are going to be one-off rounds, right? It's not something that I can go ahead and stack dozens of or something like that. And so this is one such piece where this piece in reality is not actually, from my understanding, being produced anymore. And the same goes for any really Scotiabank pieces, right? Now, Scotiabank, for those who aren't familiar, is actually a Canadian bank. It's the Bank of Nova Scotia, and they actually have, I think, other branches possibly, or in the past may have had other branches, but when it comes down to it, they're a Canadian bank. And so anybody who knows anything about SBS knows that he doesn't just love any old bank, he likes Canadian banks, and there's multiple reasons around that. It just has to do with part of my stacking strategy in reality, because, or I guess you could call it my collecting strategy, because when I started really getting into vintage stuff, I naturally, like many collectors do, started with the Johnson Mattheys, the Engelhards, and especially those Engelhards. I really like those Engelhards. And so when you go onto the allengelhard.com website, as a collector, maybe not as a stacker, but as a collector, that website ends up becoming a very valuable resource and starting point for me when you start doing your own personal research on vintage pieces that you are interested in potentially collecting. And so I was very much interested in collecting the Engelhard and Johnson Matthey stuff, and over time I started getting more and more interested into it, and so I started gathering more and more examples, and you come to find out that some of the more rare examples of the Johnson Matthey and the Engelhard pieces, especially when it comes down to the bars, are that they actually have some bars that Engelhard and Johnson Matthey specifically produced for Scotiabank. Okay, and so that's where I first started getting intrigued by the whole Canadian bank thing. It's because Engelhard and Johnson Matthey produced many bars specifically for these banks back in the day, and a lot of these banks, such as Scotiabank, they don't, produce their own bullion products anymore. So they used to produce their own bullion products that you could literally go as a Canadian citizen, go into the bank and go grab your generic bullion from the bank, and you still can do that, I believe, in Canada. It's just that certain banks such as Scotiabank are no longer offering the opportunity to be able to go in and buy like that. Like I believe you could go into TD Bank and you could still go buy as a Canadian customer. You could literally just go buy it there under your account. That's very, very cool. And unfortunately, I don't believe it's as easily accessible anymore to get Scotiabank. And I guess when you're here in the United States, none of this is really that accessible. And so a lot of times, some of my customers here in the United States, they find it helpful that, hey, I don't have to order from somebody in Canada and have, risk having those items get lost in transit. I can just buy from a US seller. So a lot of times people just trust buying from sellers in the same country that they live in. And so it's nice that I sometimes have some of these Canadian pieces available, because individuals who are looking for those kind of international pieces are able to do so on the silverbarstacker.com website. We have a lot of Scotiabank, TD Bank, Royal Bank stuff always available, and so this is just one of many Scotiabank products that we have available on the site pretty much at all times. At SBS, I like to stack duplicates, and the reason why I like to stack duplicates is not because I'm greedy, or it's not because myself I must have them all. It's because I like to always have them available for individuals who may be interested. And so it's kind of annoying to not have things available, so I always like to have things available. And so if you take a look at this 5-ounce round, it is in beautiful condition, and it is just mirror proof. Like I can just see my camera clearly. You can even almost see the brand of the camera right there, Logitech, right? So that's a very, very beautiful mirror-like finish round. It's got no reeded edge, completely flat around the entire edge. There's no etching whatsoever on the round, and it's just a very, very simplistic round. Scotiabank logo on the front, Scotiabank logo on the back, with a couple extra complimentary Scotiabank mini logos. So beautiful, clean round. I really, really like Scotiabank. Just as an example, here's just a little stash of stuff that I've got by Canadian banks that aren't necessarily like silver. Royal Bank of Canada. That's pretty cool. These little tokens. Royal Bank of Canada. Royal Bank of Canada trade dollar. RBC. RBC. Another Royal Bank of Canada. Royal Bank of Canada keychain. Or pin, actually. Royal Bank of Canada keychain. Royal Bank of Canada matchbox. Ah, here we have some Scotiabank stuff. Scotiabank. I believe I gave one of these to stack that gold. Scotiabank. Here's a little Royal Bank pen. That's pretty cool. Now I think I had some other Scotiabank stuff in here. Yeah, take a look at these. Little charm here. Scotiabank charm. So anyways, I just like to collect things by these banks because I'm weird. It's part of my collecting strategy, I guess you could say. And so when I see things, quirky things like that available, I like to buy them. Of course, when I see some silver available with the Scotiabank logo on it, and it definitely tickles my fancy. So I hope you enjoyed this quick unboxing, and I hope you were able to see something that maybe you hadn't seen before. So appreciate you all, and we will see you on the next one. If you're interested in buying these Scotiabank rounds, we do have the 5-ounce rounds available on the silverbarstacker.com website, so go ahead and check it out. And we've also got a nice blog post that we've written about this same round, so go ahead and check that out as well if you'd like to read about this, or if you'd just like to check back and take a look at these pictures a little bit up close. All right, love you all, and have a great one. Cheers. Oh, and if you haven't had a chance to yet, be sure to check out our social media landing page at solo.to/silverbarstacker. There you can find our direct website link, which is silverbarstacker.com, as well as our links to our other social media channels, such as this very YouTube channel, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our TikTok page, our Twitter page, and we also have the link to our Whatnot page, which is where we actually run our live auctions and actually also have all of these same SBS drops that we hold. We run those same drops on our Whatnot store, and we also have live auctions happening literally all the time. So the way that you can be notified about those auctions is to be following us there on whatnot.com/user/silverbarstacker. And we hope to see you there, folks. Thank you, and have a great day.